do that with Budweiser.
here's a...
Okay, what they're basically put out easy
from the ashes. Yeah, I saw the video of the old Michelle Bill.
looks like we finally came in, and it seems like the user has officially joined the, I would say, the stream right when I got done looking up research. I was a little bit late, about 10 minutes late exactly, to get all the information and news that I needed. But we are here, and there's going to be some very interesting stuff happening today. So yeah, without further ado, let's get trying into it. Now, the stream is probably going to last about 2, maybe 3 hours. We'll see. I'm not doing like a huge, extensive recap for the most part. What I'm probably going to end up doing is I'll probably doing streams today, Tuesday, and potentially even Wednesday. It really depends. Just to do a bit of recap, because a lot of recap is happening, and then when I get done with the stream today, I'm probably still going to have news from probably today, Tuesday, and maybe even Wednesday that's happening then. So I'm going to be doing future and current stuff as the best I can. So without further ado, we can get directly into that. So what we have here at the beginning of today is that we're going to start off with the our favorite place, San Francisco, or rather what we call Oakland, or California, if you want to ever be so nice. We have regional NAACP backs Oakland branch's request for state of emergency over ongoing violence. Yes. So finally, after all this time, finally, the Oakland government finally learns that, maybe we should call a state of emergency. Maybe it is okay to, maybe say that we're under attack by felons and criminals and all this other stuff. Even though this has been a Oakland tradition for decades now, but it's just essentially worse this time around. It really has gone to the higher ends of things. Violence in Oakland has reached a boiling point, causing the Oakland chapter of the NAACP to ask city leaders to declare a state of emergency, and now the regional branch is doubling down. On Saturday, the chapter that oversees the entire state of California and Hawaii showed their support for the message. Our community members are in danger, and elected officials are turning their heads away, the statement reads. We are calling on the mayor to step up and work with the Oakland branch to address this critical issue and call for a state of emergency. Just days ago, the Oakland NAACP wrote a letter slamming city and county officials as well as social justice movements. Failed leadership, including the movement to defund the police, our district attorney's unwillingness to charge and prosecute people who murder and commit life-threatening serious crimes, and the proliferation of anti-police rhetoric have created a heyday for Oakland criminals. Now, they also said that, but they said they were unable to answer at this time. Well, they were unable to answer at this time because they just don't care about you people in general. I don't know if you guys have really seen the video from California Insider, but this is not really necessarily related to Oakland, but it's going to be related to the whole state of California. And I tried warning my niece of this type of issues if she was ever going to be moving to this said state, because obviously it's been great. Now, I know about you all, but I have been under attack. And what I mean by under attack is my car has been vandalized, even though I've been in a, what you call a gated community. Nothing stolen, because there was nothing in my car, because I don't keep my stuff in my car. Of course, however, these people don't care. They decide to go into your car, vandalize it, and then also, slash your seat, because, there's something underneath the seat, under it, for some god apparent reason, because yes, I'm going to put something under my seat. It's almost like they did it for nefarious reasons because they knew me, rather than they did anything else of the matter to, particularly, get at me for some apparent reason. But this is what's happening in California, and this is not an uncommon thing. It's a constant thing to where you have to deal with ingrates, idiots that are running your state. But back to the matter is that California is not really a safe place. And I have some fool or some idiot saying that San Francisco was, no, not San Francisco, but New York City was safe. The laughability is hilarious because obviously you love just having people run away on a bus, stabbings to where you have to defend yourself and you get jailed for it, homeless people running amok, homeless people attacking people, women getting stabbed, all the 9 yards. More of that coming soon. But yeah, it's not too great in New York City. It's not too great in California. But what I'm mostly talking about is in California is that, you know about that bill that's coming in and, and wanting to, I don't know, take your children away from people? Well, it's a significantly worse than people realized. The actual transgenderism of kids or whatever, or the indoctrination is in high order in California. It's way, way worse. I may or may not do a video on this particular from the California Insider just to show you guys what's going on. I also may do the gender transformation video, which would be a epoch of, I think it's APOC, where that video is, I don't know how long it is because I haven't checked it out yet, but I will be watching it, to where there shows all the detransition and the people being suffered under this actual type of gender transformation or transgenders move, to where they're being forced. And it's all people's stories, and it will be quite sad, quite horrific, but I also think that it would be an eye-opening for all of you to be able to watch it. And a lot of this stuff is happening in California. A lot of it is in the central state of this hellhole, this pedophilia type of state, to where we have to be in. And I'm not really surprised that this is happening here, because it's being allowed here. Laws are being passed for it to happen here. Laws are being passed for where the government can take your kids, transition them, and never be able to see your kid's face again, unless they tell you that your kid had deleted himself in Minecraft. So yeah, that's what's happening in California, and I tell anybody that is watching this channel or even watching this stream right now, do not come here if you value your children's specific life, because they can rightfully and legally take your child away from you, and there's nothing you can do about it. You just have to, you're hopeless. The government comes after you in full force, and people, even your own family members, are against you. So maybe I'll do a video on that, completely separate, because, well, it's pretty damning there. We have this as well from Oakland City Council member of Dan Caleb. Says, without details of what the NAACP wants to happen, it is difficult to respond to the request. Just pointing out the problem, I think we all know there's a problem. No one is denying that, Caleb said. If there's some specificity to please do this or do that, then I can react to that. KTVU visited the site of the most recent Oakland shooting on Saturday morning as to ask residents if they thought a state of emergency was necessary. Reviews were mixed. One man who has been a victim of 5 different crimes in 5 years said it was necessary, but not everyone agreed. I think symbolism is really important in today's world. You need something that's big, drastic, and a headline, said Soikoya Lee. I guess my question is, what would a state of emergency really mean on the ground, or would it possibly further harm the narrative around Oakland? Well, let me tell you one thing. I'm assuming you're a female young lady. Is that Oakland already has a bad narrative in general, right? Oakland has been known as like a very dangerous place for people to be at in general for, honestly, I say, for decades. This is not really a thing to where Oakland has been this great state, this great city to visit in California. In fact, it's been a city to where most people will want to stay away from because of the actual, huge amount of crime that is happening there. It just so happens that the crime is a lot worse in today than it is, maybe a few years ago. And this is all due to the bail reform, and honestly, a lot of social justice idiots saying it's okay to let criminals go free. So, the moral story is, do I care that Oakland is under fire? Well, no. The reason why I don't care is because the people voted for this and allowed this to happen. You can't feel sympathy for people that are constantly coming in and attacking people, right? And allowing it to happen. And it's the same thing as people from Chicago going up and saying like, oh, well, this is a problem. It's like, well, you idiots, you caused this. I can't really feel sorry for you if you're actually causing it. The same thing to where, like, it's an issue. But what I can do is at least let people know what's going on in Chicago, what's happening in Oakland, what's happening in these woke cities. And even some red cities are not safe either. But there are ways that we can talk about it, ways to learn that can better the cities in general. First off, not voting blue because they actually destroyed the cities. but, also finding some other ways to fix the crime in, red states as well. Our job's not done here yet. We still have a lot to do, but these are some of the necessary things. Well, now we have this. Carlee Russel grins in mugshot as she's charged with faking with her own abduction. Spa therapist 25 now faces up to 2 years in prison. My oh my oh my. It seems that the so-called great Carlee Russel is in a little bit of trouble, I say. Well, it was kind of evident from the story that none of her stuff seemed to meet up into reality. So, I seen that what we thought was true. She has lied to everybody, so therefore, she's being charged. Russel has been charged with 2 misdemeanor charges of filing a false report. She now faces up to 2 years in jail and $12,000 in fines. She was released from jail today after posting a $2,000 bond. Russell, 25, was driving home from work in Hoover, Alabama on July 13th when she called 911, claiming she'd been a toddler in a diaper and on the side of the street. She'd seen a toddler in a diaper. My apologies. She then called her brother's girlfriend, claiming the same site, and screamed down the phone. She wasn't seen again for 2 days, then turned up at her parents' house with a cut lip and a tall tale about having been snatched by a man with orange hair who held her captive for 2 days before she managed to somehow escape. Hoover police then revealed the spa therapist's incriminating Google search history that included the terms, "Do you have to pay for an Amber Alert?" and research on the movie Taken. A sheepish Russell went quiet, then admitted via her attorney to making the entire story up. Today, Hoover police Nick Derzies announced her criminal charges against her. Now, I think I've told something about this, right? Where normally when people are abducted or kidnapped or what have you, terrible things end up to happen to them. It's normally not really a good thing, right? Like, normally when you get kidnapped or abducted, it's just like, with women, it's normally sexual assault, or with men, you end up dying or whatever. It's normally, the victim normally gets traumatized in some type of way. I mean, that's just the reality. Not all the case, but to be abducted twice is a bit of head scratcher, because normally if you're abducted twice, it's probably going to be the same person, and it's probably the second time is probably to end you. So, I don't think that it makes much sense to be kidnapped twice and come out alive. I mean, that's just a horrible, nefarious part of it all. I don't like abductions. I think they're horrible. I think that they always end up in tragedy. And to think of this woman somehow survived 2 abductions is a bit surprising and untold for. I don't know how many people. Maybe you could leave a comment down here and probably think, how many people have you known that in the media that has been abducted by any means and have actually escaped unharmed in some way. I mean, completely unharmed. No abuse, no nothing at all. And I would like to know who you know that has actually escaped that unharmed. Let alone twice, because that doesn't make any sense. We have here that the Russell family lives in an $800,000 house and a holds steady jobs. Her mother is a realtor and her father is a VP at a bank. Quite why the spa therapist made up her story remains unclear. There were more rumors she was trying to win back the attention of her boyfriend, from who she recently split when she staged the hoax. The boyfriend frantically appealed for information when she was missing, then quickly distanced himself from her when her story started to crumble. Well, yeah. I mean, again, there's still so many things that you have to question and ask about what's going on there, right? Like, I don't quite see where this is going to be a thing or a slam dunk in this regard where it's true, right? I mean, there's too many things. When more questions are coming up than being answered, you really have an idea of what's going on here, right? Now there are also questions over whether she will have to repay the $100,000 that was spent in their search for her. Russell's parents are yet to comment on her arrest, and she has yet to explain why she lied. Well, I mean, it's probably for clout, honestly, if anything, because a lot of people are doing clout these days. And has anybody seen those TikTokers, those NPC TikTokers? My God, it is, it is awful. The NPC TikTokers are awful. I don't understand how anybody can do that, have any sort of dignity, and keep on doing this. I mean, if you all want to go and do it, I mean, get your money, get your bag, but my brothers, my sisters, do we really want to embarrass ourselves and make ourselves look like a fool in front of thousands of people? I mean, $6,000 a day? I mean, that's enticing for any man or woman, but still, there's some type of dignity that, you may have to pass judgment on. And the state or her attorney said, my client has given me permission to make the following statement on her behalf. There was no kidnapping on July 13th, 2023. My client did not see a baby on the side of the road. My client did not leave the Hoover area where she was identified as a missing person. My client did not have any help in this incident, but this was a single act done by herself. My client was not with anyone or at any hotel during the time she was missing. My client apologized for her actions to the community, the volunteers who were searching for her, to the Hoover Police Department and other agencies, as well as to her friends and family. We ask for your prayers for Carlee as she addresses her issues and intends to move understanding that she made a mistake. Carlee again asks for your forgiveness and prayers. I don't think that she's going to be getting any type of forgiveness at all. From what the video that we've seen previously before from the people talking about her, were quite angry over the fact that, she lied to them. So I don't think that prayers are going to be addressed to this woman or thoughts at all. I think what's mostly going to end up happening is that they're going to want to see her behind bars, and rightfully so. And maybe this is a reminder to everyone. Just don't lie. Don't create these fake hoax for everybody to see, right? I mean, this is kind of obvious. Don't do this. It's pretty stupid, but, people are people, and they want to get their clout. Even though if it lands them in jail. So, yeah, this is the story here. And, looks like she's being charged. And, rightfully so, and we could move on from this stupid and dumb story, but everything we've been assuming is true and not a lie. So, here we go. Now, apparently that this stream is probably going to last a little bit shorter than I expected. I could have gotten the videos cooked up a little bit from the actual Oakland stuff and all that, make this stream a tad bit longer, but it is what it is. It's not, the stream's not over yet, people, calm down, we good, the stream's still ongoing, don't worry, but it seems it's going to be a little bit quicker than anticipated. That's what I was saying. So, we have this here, Chloe Cole finally goes up to the Congress, and, is speaking her, her detransition stuff. Speaking of that, we're going to do this as well. We're going to do the detransition here. See what's going on. Well. The detransitioner Reddit. It is true, and it's going loud, and we are at 49K members as of recently. So, what we have here is 49K members of D-Trans, and then we also have our D-Trans, what we would call D-Trans, checker. We keep up to date with this, ladies and gentlemen, because the reason why we keep up to date with this are for simple reasons. Let's see here. Where's the detransition? We have, Maria, FB. I don't think it's in this one. I have it in here somewhere because all this stuff is to be shown to all. Let me see here. It might be a miss. Actually, it might be in General Reports. There we go. So, what we have here is that we have 48.1K. There's 150 members online as of yet. It shuffles between 200 and 100. So, let's give this a little bit of a pause. Some of you may not be able to see, so we'll zoom in a little bit here. So as you guys can see, we have, at the last time that we took this, was at 48.1K. So this was 48.1K members. Now that we have this, we're at 49K. So it's went up 1,000 since we've last seen this. And this is going to be a constant thing that's going to be going up as we view this. But we have this here, obviously, from Ollie London, where a detransitional Chloe Cole addresses a House committee hearing on the dangers of gender-affirming care. I speak to you today as a victim of one of the biggest medical scandals in the history of the United States of America. We're going to listen to this. We're going to go through this together as people because we see this as a pretty much huge thing. And I think we all know about Chloe Cole. You could probably learn more about Chloe Cole's story on I may believe, Jordan Peterson, where she did an extensive interview on her. And she goes on the whole stories. But she explains a little bit of her story here.
As a victim of one of the biggest medical scandals in the history of the United States of America, I speak to you in the hope that you will have the courage to bring the scandal to an end and ensure that other vulnerable teenagers, children, and young adults don't go through what I went through. At the age of 12, I began to experience what my medical team would later diagnose as gender dysphoria. I was well into an early puberty, and I was very uncomfortable with the changes that were happening to my body. I was intimidated by male attention, and when I told my parents that I felt like a boy, in retrospect, all I meant was that I hated puberty, that I wanted this newfound sexual attention to go away, that I looked up to my brothers a little bit more than I did to my sisters. I came out as transgender in a letter I sent on the dining room table. My parents were immediately concerned. They felt like they needed to get outside help from medical professionals, but this proved to be a mistake.
One thing that she's also not really going over, which is going over in the Jordan Peterson interview, is that the part of the reason why she made the transition, among many other things, which she kind of explains here, is that she was actually for pretty much sexually assaulted. Well, it was more like a molestation, I think. I don't think she was actually legitimately sexually assaulted. But you would, under the label of what happened to her, you would probably put it under sexual assault. But in this case, this is one of the reasons why it was going to the go-to reasons onto why she went to the transition thing, because, you know, of all this other stuff. And it kind of happens with girls, I guess, when they develop a bit earlier than others, to where this does happen to them and they make fun of it. But in retrospect, this did what happened to her. And the interview is pretty extensive. I may want to go over some of these interviews as well with you guys as a stream, because that being said, we learned a lot about Chloe Cole and kind of how the medical industry goes through, and a lot of the stuff that she talks here, along with many other of these individuals, is that the video with the gender transformation is even bigger than this, and I kind of want to show it to everybody to kind of see what's going on. The only way people can see it is by obviously by what do you call it, by viewing it. That's the only way to really find out. And unfortunately, I will pay for it for you all to see if I must. I'll try my best to talk to the people and see if I can actually buy it and then stream it, because it is on their platform, and I have to get confirmation before I do that, because I don't need my YouTube taken down for showing you guys stuff like this. But I do want to show it to you a lot, because it explains a lot what's happening in that whole industry and how fucked it is.
Immediately set our entire family down a path of ideologically motivated deceit and coercion. The gender specialist I was taken to see told my parents that I needed to be put on puberty-blocking drugs right away. They asked my parents a simple question: would you rather have a dead daughter or a living transgender son? The choice was enough for my parents to let their guard down, and in retrospect, I can't blame them. This was the moment that we all became victims of so-called gender-affirming care. I was fast-tracked onto puberty blockers and then testosterone. The resulting menopausal hot flashes made focusing on school impossible. I still get joint pains and weird pops in my back, but they were far worse when I was on the blockers.
One thing that I should also address as well, when she mentioned about, they're telling the parents, oh, we have a dead son or a dead daughter, etc., etc. From what we gather, especially when you go from the California Insider video, where a mom actually went through this and explains it thoroughly and works with these people, indeed transitioners, is that that's what the medical community constantly uses to scare and bully parents into affirming their kids. I think what happens here is that the parents are ignorant on what's going on, and parents only want what's best for their child, what's best for their kid. And I need people to understand, if you're put between a situation where your kid is on the mountain of suicide and you're trying your best to make sure your kid lives, a parent is going to do the best they can and listen to the doctors, because they believe in the doctors to do the best to save their child. And some of these, and I don't really blame the parents for doing this, by the way. I think they're just ignorant on the matter. They're outside of the political realm, which the majority of people are, and they do these things by being bullied by the medical community. I think that the medical community needs to be faced harsh financial ramifications for this, along with some people going to jail, most likely permanently. Because if you're going to do blackmail or / bully people and saying stuff like this, and you ruin the lives of their children and everybody around them, you need some type of harsh ramifications. Big time.
A month later, when I was 13, I had my first testosterone injection. It's caused permanent changes to my body. My voice will forever be deeper, my jawline sharper, my nose longer, my bone structure permanently masculinized, my Adam's apple more prominent, my fertility unknown. I look in the mirror sometimes and I feel like a monster. I had a double mastectomy at 15. They tested my amputated breast for cancer. And I was cancer-free, of course. I was perfectly healthy. There was nothing wrong with my still developing body or my breasts, other than that, as an insecure teenage girl, I felt awkward about it. After my breasts were taken away from me, the tissue was incinerated. Before I was able to legally drive, I had a huge part of my future womanhood taken from me. I will never be able to breastfeed. I struggle to look at myself in the mirror at times. I still struggle to this day with sexual dysfunction. And I have massive scars across my chest. And the skin grafts that they took of my nipples are weeping fluid today. And they were grafted into a more masculine positioning, they said. After surgery, my grades in school plummeted. Everything that I went through did nothing to address my underlying mental health issues that I had. And my doctors, with their theories on gender, thought that all my problems would go away as soon as I was surgically transformed into something that vaguely resembled a boy. Their theories were wrong. The drugs and surgeries changed my body, but they did not and could not change the basic reality that I am and forever will be a female. When my specialist first told my parents that they could have a dead daughter or a live transgender son, I wasn't suicidal. I was a happy child who struggled because she was different. However, at 16, after my surgery, I did become suicidal. I'm doing better now. But my parents almost got the dead daughter promised to them by my doctors. My doctors had almost created the very nightmare they said they were trying to avoid. So what message do I want to bring to American teenagers and their families? I didn't need to be lied to. I needed compassion. I needed to be loved. I needed to be given therapy to help me work through my issues, not affirm to my delusion that by transforming into a boy, it would solve all my problems.
One thing to address here with Chloe is that I don't specifically remember if she was in California when this happened. It is a strong possibility that she was, but I'm not entirely sure. But I do know, from actually doing some videos and what have you and doing a little bit of research, a lot of the psychologists or therapists here in California are trained to affirm to affirm and agree with the transition stuff. So the fact that she could get therapy, even if she did, would have still harmed her, because the therapy that they receive, at least here in California, is for the G-transgenders and trying to make things worse for her, or honestly at this point in time, for the victim, because they're lying to them in order to get money. This is kind of the reality that these people face. They're lied to over and over and over and over again, constantly, until their lives are completely ruined. And then the only thing that you have for these people is people laughing with skulls and masks and demon faces on as they reap in the benefits of that money. And the victim is completely destroyed from there and out. These people don't care about these actual transgender people. They don't care about these kids at all. The only thing that they care about is the actual money that they receive. And the damage that's left afterwards, they could fucking care less. This is the evil that we're in right now today. That these people just do not care. And I think that video, if I can get around to it and get an agreement for you guys to watch this, will probably show that light of how much they don't care for these people or anybody involved, as long as they get their bag, as long as they get their money.
We need to stop telling 12-year-olds that they were born wrong, that they are right to reject their own bodies and feel uncomfortable with their own skin. We need to stop telling children that puberty is an option, that they can choose what kind of puberty they will go through, just so they can choose what clothes to wear or what music to listen to. Puberty is a rite of passage to adulthood, not a disease to be mitigated. Today, I should be at home with my family celebrating my 19th birthday, and instead I'm making a desperate plea to my elected representatives. Learn the lessons from other medical scandals like the opioid crisis, to recognize that doctors are human too, and sometimes they are wrong. My childhood was ruined along with thousands of detransitioners that I know through our networks. This needs to stop. You alone can stop it. Enough children have already been victimized by this barbaric pseudoscience. Please let me be your final warning. Thank you.
And unfortunately, with the Democrats in play, they don't care. They don't care about this fit person. They don't care about what's happening to transitioners. They don't care about what's happening to kids. All they care about is using these people, these victims, as a political gain just so they can get power. That's it. That's all these Democrats care for. I don't think there has been ever a remote time to where I've seen a Democrat, at least a politician Democrat, be even remotely good to anybody in the society at all. And I'm not saying Republicans are good, because they're not. There are some garbage Republicans that need to be chained up as well. But the Democrats were the first ones to let go of slavery. And then they're also the same people that are still trying to ruin black people in general. I do not see to where Democrats have any benefit in today's society or what they've been doing. But what I do know is that at least in the modern day, even if we ignore all that stuff that they did in the previous years, the Democrats are now doing this and promoting this barbaric stuff. And if you guys and if people do not see that what this person's wrong is not a problem, then you're the devil itself. We have more of less of a depressing story, but more of still a sad and pathetic thing, to where we have Jason Aldean's Try That in a Small Town video undergoes edits, loses footage of BLM protests, and used without permission. Now, obviously, this is something that I was touting for about a couple weeks ago, with Jason Aldean kind of stepping up and not bending the knee and saying no to the mob. Well, unfortunately, he has bent the knee, and this is what happens. This doesn't make us good or strong, and I question a lot about this. In the firestorm over Jason Aldean's Try That in a Small Town video, some attention has been retrained on the different sources for the supposed U.S. news footage of protests that was incorporated into the video. some of which has been reported to have come from foreign countries. In the meantime, though, one clip that definitely did come from the U.S. has been removed, reportedly because it was not properly licensed. The Washington Post was the first to report that that Aldean's music video had been shortened by 6 seconds as a result of trims made by the artist's team. Notably cut from the original video was 2 separate uses of footage of Black Lives Matter protests that came from Fox 5 Atlanta. Aldean's label BBR told the Post in a statement that the video footage was edited due to third-party copyright clearance issues. Yeah, right. Of course. TMZ went further, reporting that Fox, in the polite ultimatum, had complained to the production company that the footage was used without permission and had asked a week ago to have his clips removed from the video. The Nashville-based company Tackle Box Films, which is run by the video director Sean Silva, complied with the demand. According to TMZ sources, the production company had contacted Fox back on May 8th and asked to use 6 seconds of the video footage from a film from a BLM protest in Atlanta. The Tackle Box responded with a link to Aldean's song, but did not follow the protocol of sending the lyrics in writing, so permission was never granted before the video premiered July 14th. The contested BLM footage was projected onto the front of a courthouse in Columbia, Tennessee, where a black man was famously hanged from a second-floor balcony. Aldean denied in a subsequent social media post that the video was pro-lynching in any way. Some of the other footage of demonstrations that remains in the video reported came from Canada and Germany. It's not known whether the clips were properly licensed. More benign footage has been removed from the video as well. The Washington Post noted the final 30 seconds of the original video featured idyllical rural footage, including a man in a baseball cap and sunglasses looking into the sun and an older man speaking about small town values while sitting in a wheelchair. Neither clip appears in the new version. No speculation was offered about why these peaceful protestful scenes might have been deleted, or whether those closing shots represented original or adopted footage. Aldean has come under attack since the video came out for conflating the lawful protests with the carjackings, robberies, and other violent crimes as things that would be met with retribution in his visions of a small town. Some critics have seen racism in the footage of BLM protests being projected directly onto the site of the historically significant public murder of a black man. Although sources connected to the production company have claimed they were not aware of the site's history before filming a vigilante-themed video there. Here's the thing. Now, you could probably get people in the first half by saying it's with the copyright issues, right? But the very last video of it, where I show at the very ending of the video, is where the man's man in the baseball cap trying to talk about about not trying to do in a small town. That has nothing but great implications. And the fact that he removed it shows that he bent the knee. I'm so sick and tired of these people bending the knee to a woke mob that is so small, so tiny that it means nothing. You have thousands of people, James Aldean, that are willing to bat it with you, willing to defend you, and the only thing that you do is bend the knee. You're not an American if you do this. At all. We need people to stop bending the knee. It is getting annoying. It is the same thing with these damn Republicans, where they bend the knee, where they don't try to do anything, and they let society fall into chaos. They let down their own voter base, and let their own country fall, because they bend the knee to the Democrats or the far left. It needs to stop, because by bending the knee, you're saying this is okay, that they're winning. Stop with this BS, man. You won't see me taking down a video. And the only time I'll take down a video, and I have done this in the past, is if I have made a mistake on my part in terms of either reporting, whether even still if I have done a mistake on reporting, I keep it up, or if for instance, there's audio issues, and YouTube has a problem with re-uploading videos of pretty much the same type of video with the same title or whatever, that's pretty much identical, and you get in trouble for that. So I have to delete the video in order to re-upload the video with the actual correct audio. Then that's the only time I'll actually delete videos, right? That's the only time. But you won't catch me bending the knee to the woke mob. Because if I do that, then what's the point? That means my ideals, my interpretation on everything is a falsehood. And I don't agree with that. We need to stop bending the knee to these people. Jason Aldean, you made a decent song. But then that song immediately gets tarnished when you bend the knee to the woke mob and, make it a failure for everybody else. Maybe a few thousand dislikes on your video will maybe change your mind about that. And maybe your fans may actually, hate you for it. And as they should. We have this here. Improvised explosive devices used to bomb tent full of homeless drug addicts in ongoing turf war near Seattle Hospital. Well, ladies and gentlemen. It seems that Seattle is in an explosive state. Yeah, I know, that was terrible. Anyhow, it seems that Seattle's not doing too great, right? Obviously, we know that Seattle is a hell zone. It is a terrible place. I actually do know of a person that I talked to ever so slightly about the whole place on Seattle, and let's just say he probably explain the story a little bit better than I can. But the man had his bike chained to a support beam. All right, it was to a support beam. I know you guys know what a support beam is. So it's chained to a support beam. Went to go do his job or what have you. And people came with the sledgehammer, destroyed the support beam, and stole the bike. Now that's a new level of determination of stealing a bike than I can even imagine. It's a bike. It's not a motorcycle. It's not any of that. It's a bike. And these people come with a sledgehammer to destroy the support beam and steal the bike. This is the level of Seattle type of debauchery that it is, alright? That is one of the other things. Also, the fact that he almost gets stabbed, so there's that. But, Seattle's just not the place that you want to be at, alright? And especially with your bikes. You'll get a sledgehammer taken to it. To steal it, of course. Multiple explosive devices likely connected to an ongoing drug turf war were the cause of multiple explosions and a massive fire in a homeless encampment outside Harborview Medical Center in Seattle on Friday morning, putting the hospital at risk as passersby reported debris impacting the building. Oh my, oh my, oh my. That's so sad and so bad. Well, here's the thing here. I don't think we have to worry too much about this, considering the people in Seattle voted for this. Oh boy, yeah. Seattle people, you go for it. Keep on voting for this. Woohoo! The reason why I'm so happy about this type of situation here is mostly because when you vote for this stupid stuff, you get stupid rewards, right? I mean, we're gonna vote for people to be let out of prison and not put anybody into jail, and then we're gonna be like, yeah, we're gonna make everything a lot worse. According to a police report obtained by the Post-Millennial at the encampment located between Interstate 5 and the hospital in downtown Seattle, the explosion was a targeted attack on a fentanyl tent where 20 customers were inside using drugs. Oh my, oh my, oh my. One witness stated that minutes before the explosion, he saw the devices alerted others inside. He added that everyone inside the tent freaked out and exited by lifting the other side of the structure to escape. The witness told police that he attempted to exit south due to hearing gunshots and flashing from the bush to the northeast, but saw another improvised explosive device, IED, south of the structure and added that he heard someone yelling that the suspect in the attack was shooting at them. Well. We're going to go into Jonathan Coe, journalist, Seattle, and we're going to look a little bit on this stuff on terms of, the bombs and explosions and the fire trucks trying to put out the explosions and prevent a fire, because, you got to do that when, drug addicts making a turf war.
Latest on the I-5 encampment fire from last Friday. My sources are telling me it was related to a drug turf war gone bad.
Yeah, I don't have the information, Jonathan. We've talked publicly about in encampment areas the correlation between crime. Hey, dear, how?
Mayor, they still love you here.
Well, we talked about the correlation between homelessness and drug addiction and crime and the overlap in these areas. And so I think people understand that there present safety issues. And as a prime example of an unhealthy and an unsafe area that resulted in injuries and property destruction. So we'll find out more information on this, exactly what happened. That's what our police department will do.
Mayor, why not get permission from WashDOT and just go in and just clear this encampment that's in your city and obviously spilling into, the neighborhood?
Well, we are working closely with them. Our relationship with the state officials, as evidenced by today, working with the commerce side of the house, that they understand the severity and the significance of the problems. They're keenly aware of it. They've taken their political and public hits because of perhaps not being as effective and efficient as they could be.
What are you doing to hold WashDOT accountable in your city?
Well, that's a good question. I don't couch it in terms of holding them accountable. I guess the way I couch it is I have to be very direct in my expectations. I have to listen to the impediments that they have to work effectively. They could have human resource power, lack of employees, lack of resources themselves. So I also try to figure out what's their impediments, and then we move forward. So I think I've made it very clear to them the significance of the problem. So I'm confident that moving forward will be a lot better.
Thank you for joining us on our walk.
I don't think it's going to be a lot better if you have people still voting to destroy the city, but, I digress. Well, we have this, according to the court filings, Coconut is connected to drug trafficking operations, and this area was described in the report as a Pacific Islander Asian male in his 50s with cornrow-style braids, with graying hair, wearing a gray t-shirt and a tan cargo pants. He was identified as Michael Benito Puasa, I think that's how you pronounce his last name, 55, and is associated with a short white female with tan skin with the alias Monkey, who has been identified as a 39-year-old Michelle Desire Olajosen. So we have this here. So we have the police report is 16 pages long, so I'm going to break down the highlights and post only the relevant pages here. Here goes. Crazy details out of a gangster movie. Witness, we have here as well. We're going to go through this a little bit. We have this here. Witness says few weeks prior to the fire, there was a lot of infighting at the I-5 encampment. Alleged drug dealer Michael Benito, posted aka Coconut, was replaced as leader. He came back, allegedly robbed the encampment at gunpoint and shot at the tents. People in the encampment retaliated and shot Coconut in the chest and left him for dead. But then Coconut was recently seen on the encampment security camera. Witness says he believes Coconut is the one who placed multiple improvised explosive devices, bombs, outside of the structure, then may have ignited them with gunshots. It was Coconut's revenge plan all along. Witness alerted everyone to get out of the encampment once he saw the IED and heard gunfire. Coconut is described as an Asian male in his 50s with cornrows. He is also seen with a woman who uses the street name Monkey. Police report says Coconut and Monkey are both associated with the insane open-air drug den at 12th Avenue at Jackson Street in Chinatown. So yeah, we have that. We have more here. We have this saying, this is exactly why Mayor Bruce Harrell must continue to release dangerous encampments in Seattle. The mayor is right on this one. Some tents and RVs are being used to traffic drugs and conduct illicit activity. This is not a homeless or housing issue. It's a crime issue. City leaders and law enforcement have to make distinction. Notorious graffiti vandal Edgar badly injured. It still remains unclear why Casey King, aka Eager, was near this encampment the day of the massive inferno, but the police report sheds some details and the severity of his injuries. Parties involved. It appears police investigators are interested in Coconut's whereabouts, but he has yet to be found. We have this here. Risk 2 at Harborview Medical Center. This downtown Seattle homeless encampment is right near Harborview MC. Look at the risk patients and staff face because of this out-of-control situation. Ongoing investigation. Another witness believes the encampment explosion was retaliation from the recent shooting death of Foolish. There was apparently tension building at the camp before the fire. Some dude with the street name Rebel allegedly stole $80K worth of fentanyl. Let's see here. From the Asians. Still a bunch of details and pieced together. So yeah, this is an ongoing thing here. It is absolutely crazy this is going. And there's a lot to talk about here. So that's mostly it for, all this is going on here. This is a little bit extra stuff here. Elected officials, this chaotic encampment is on a WCD dot right away. Governor Jay Inslee knows exactly what's going on here, but continues to allow this. Well, a lot of the governors are going to continue to allow this type of debauchery and fuckery and all that stuff in Seattle. Because they voted for this. The people voted for this type of stuff, so obviously it's not going to be dealt with until you get somebody else in place. Or I should say they're going to deal with this. The governor's going to ignore it. The mayor is most likely going to ignore it. The people are going to allow it to happen because they're going to keep voting for it. So I expect a lot more chaos and mayhem to happen until, further stuff happens. We have this here. Naked woman firing a gun grinds eastbound Bay Bridge traffic to halt, per CHP. So we have this here. Eastbound traffic on the Bay Bridge was backed up after a naked woman got out of her vehicle and began firing a gun into the air on Tuesday afternoon, according to KPX TV. Oh boy. San Francisco is really a great place to be at, huh, guys? I mean, we have naked women going out and firing their gun out in the open. Now, I'm a Second Amendment person. I think everybody should have the right to bear arms and have the ability to defend themselves whenever they see fit, especially when you want to go hunting, because hunting is fun. But this is not the correct use of the Second Amendment. I mean, you just don't go out and shoot people, especially while naked, because, I think nobody wants to see nudity. I mean, of course, we could all embrace a little bit of nudity here and there in our own bedrooms, but maybe public keep that ugly body to yourself. Now, I haven't seen this woman, and I hope I don't ever have to see this woman, but, I digress. Aren't guns illegal in Cali? Yes and no. It is extremely hard to get a firearm here. Most of the guns that you would probably see that are on the streets are mostly illegal. But you can purchase guns here in California. It's just extremely hard to get them. I may believe in a court case. I don't know how long ago it happened sometime this year, to where the judge actually tried to brought down the charges or what have you, or the case where they were trying to ban guns here. It was considered unconstitutional, at least here in California. So it's very hard for even I could say the Democratic governors to go after guns in even these woke states. The judges are normally going to clamp down on it for the most part. That's probably due to change in maybe the next decade or so, give or take. Depending on when you get more woke activists in the court system, then you'll probably have more of the Second Amendment rights stolen. But as for right now, guns are legal in California. It's just, as I said before, incredibly hard to get them. Trying to get an AR-15 here is bloody near impossible. The California compliant or AR-15 and the NYC one is so ridiculous. Yeah, I agree, 100%. 100%. It is incredibly difficult. I may believe my friend got a AR-15 recently. Or not recently, about a year ago, give or take. And he can't actually use it because it's illegal in California. He has it, he owns it, but he can't bring it out, he can't do anything because it's illegal in California. I may believe he wants to move out of state. I think one of the places he wants to move to is Montana, I think. I could be either, but it was not Montana, but Wyoming. One of those two states, he wants to move there. And I think he'll be able to use his gun there, but he can't use his actual gun even though he owns it in California. So, you can't even buy ammo for it. So, yeah, it's ridiculous here in California. It's insane. A video posted on social media apparently showed a person exiting the vehicle stopped in the middle of a interstate 80 near the toll plaza. So we're probably going to watch this little video here. I don't know how long it is, but we're going to find out. There is no sound. But as you can see here, I don't even see the naked lady. Maybe if I zoom this in. I see somebody get out of the vehicle, though. CHP shut down all lanes briefly as officers conducted an investigation. All lanes are now open, but motorists should expect delays. So, yeah. Again, San Francisco is a hellhole, and now we're finally seeing naked women firing a gun into traffic. I mean, I don't know. This is kind of like a funny scene. If anything, funny story, but still, I mean, San Francisco, come on, guys. Yeah, I probably would get struck. This is what I need. Funny enough, I can't actually open my, my subscriber thing. Or not my subscriber thing, but like subscriptions or whatever for you guys to subscribe to if you guys ever so do so. I mean, the other monetary stuff. Mostly due to the fact that I still have a strike for the whole other situation or whatever. So, I have to wait until essentially, well, the end of August, before I can even open up to apply for that. So, yeah, it's really annoying. I've been able to do it pretty much early this month, so I can thank you guys a lot for that, for subscribing to the channel and getting me there. But, so annoying. Hopefully, though, I will reach the other method of advertisement milestone, which by times of viewing, the more people that watch my videos in terms of length, the closer I can get to that, rather than reaching the 1,000 subscriber mark. So, YouTube's retarded. I don't like YouTube. I want to move from it. Unfortunately, it's not as good as Rumble right now. But I am building on Rumble, so if people want to view on Rumble, by all means do it. The streams, I don't know if my streams actually go to Rumble quite yet, so we'll see about that. I'm going to try to work on the multi-stream thing later on in the future here, so people can view both on Rumble and on YouTube. It's just I need to have a little bit of conversation because it does cost money to stream to multiple platforms at once. Yeah, Rumble is getting better. I've been hearing a lot about it. It's getting a lot better. I will switch to when I see a little bit here. I'll do YouTube as long as possible for everybody that does YouTube because, you know, so there's going to be some content that I'll probably end up switching to Rumble because if I do it on YouTube, guys, it's going to get taken down. It's going to strike my channel and I can't do anything about it. Well, whereas Rumble, I can do so. So some things are going to be allowed on YouTube, some things are going to be allowed on Rumble. I'll have Rumble exclusives because YouTube does not allow me to do it, alright? That's just the way it is. How did you get banned from Twitter? It's supposed to be fucking, you know, that free speech thing. I mean, again, we did with this, that stupid CEO person that Elon Musk decided to put into place here. And we all knew this was going to happen, so free speech is not really allowed on there. Honestly, I kind of... Elon Musk is fucking up here. Going back to his old ways, I guess. Well. In a more comedic sense here, and an unfortunately bad comedic sense, FatCon is Philadelphia's first convention celebrating obesity. It's just so bad, guys. We have this here. Three Philadelphia women have taken the contemporary wave of obesity a notch higher by organizing FatCon, a conference tailor-made for people with a higher than average body mass index. As per reports in Philadelphia Inquirer, this first of its kind conference aims to communicate that a significant number of Philadelphians are comfortable with their body size and are proud of it. Philadelphia, with its reputation for indulgent food items like cheesesteaks, hoagies, roast pork sandwiches, scrapple, and pizza, already attracts attention for its contribution to the gastronomical landscape It's reported that 68% of adults in Philadelphia are overweight or obese, whereas 41% of youth between the ages of 6 and 17. Nope, I made a joke. Someone posted Gen Z doesn't know about the Holocaust, so I replied, wasn't that when they had to work hard and they pretended it killed them? Yeah, it's, yeah, I don't know. Again, that new CEO that Elon Musk put in, we told him that this was going to happen, right? Like we specifically told him that that this is from the WEF or whatever, or the WHO. We said that this was going to happen. That she's anti free speech. She's been told that she's been anti free speech, and this is what's happening. Elon Musk is an idiot. Okay, in some terms of fashion. I like what he does sometimes, but he is an idiot when it comes to people. You don't get people from the WHO. You just fucking just do not do that, alright? Plain and simple. It's just stupid. Well, and this is also just as dumb here. FatCon. Now, I understand that some people can't lose weight easy, and I understand some people have a actual medical condition to where they can't lose weight. But the fact that we're going to celebrate FatCon and celebrate people being overweight and celebrating people to essentially ruin their lives and make their lives worse is disgusting to me in every shape or form. Danielle Jagman, Adrienne Ray, and Kenyatta Harris are pioneering a movement that supposedly celebrates fat body diversity with Philly FatCon, a unit convention scheduled for October at Temple University. The convention is meant to go beyond buzzwords like body positivity and beyond body neutrality to promote an atmosphere where individuals can celebrate their bodies without apology. The organizers aspire to make FatCon a judgment-free zone, fostering community spirit among individuals who often feel overlooked due to their size. The event claims it aims to provide an alternative perspective to navigate a world fraught with so-called fat phobia, with panel discussion on fashion, coping with fat phobia, and social media influencing, topped up with a keynote address by the fat sex therapist. There's a fat sex therapist? Excuse me? Did anybody know about this? By the way, there's a fat sex therapist. What? Alright, moving on. The converse seems to be more inclined towards self-expression and acceptance rather than focusing on health, exercise, and weight loss. There is a fat-friendly fitness class, though. The convention will include with a plus swap plus shop event, providing attendants the opportunity to acquire plus-size clothing items. This is disgusting. I'm not quite sure what's going on here. First, we have a fat sex therapist, which I don't even know what the hell that is. And then 2, we have something that is pertaining to allowing people to just be fat. Okay, I'm not going to say that I'm not going to go out here and say that, make fun of you for being fat. I mean, I may make a joke. I'm lying. I probably will, right? I probably will make a joke about you being fat. I'm going to be honest here. But there's a difference between being fat and then working out to lose the weight, which is completely 100% okay, and then trying to glorify people being overweight and having all these medical health issues. People were not designed to be this weight at all. I mean, when you're born as a kid, majority of the time is that you are you're skinny. Babies are fat because they need the fat at the beginning to, help them grow and stuff like that, etc. I'm not too familiar with that. But babies usually tend out to become slender and not overweight, right? That's normal. People that become overweight are normally, they have some medical, they may have some mental health issues. They're not doing too well with their diet. I mean, and I'm not going to point blank to myself. I need to go out into the gym and work out myself. I think that I need to do this as well. I'm not the only person that says that I shouldn't. I am not in the best shape either, and I even agree that I have to do it. But I'm not gonna go out here and say go out here, be overweight and stuff, and do stuff like that. Yeah, if people are viewing, there is now something called a bonus hole or something like that, or whatever, and I don't know what's going on with this. Again, when they're just going to start degrading women with the bonus hole type stuff, it's insane. But this FatCon stuff is, oh boy. The idea for the first 3-part convention was born after the second annual Plus Swap, Philadelphia's largest plus-size clothing swap, founded by Jagman in 2021. Realizing the need for a larger, inclusive event, Jagman, Ray, and Harris, who run plus-size businesses, began planning in November 2022 and officially announced FatCon in March. That phrase, body positivity, has become bogged down with relating to body image, Ray said. What people in larger bodies need is to step away from constantly talking about body image, because that can be very triggering for folks who have disabilities, chronic illness, have been dieting on and off all their lives, and developed eating disorders because of it. She also said that people just want to be themselves, which is why there's a dire need for FatCon. Some people are not in love with their body every day, but this is the body that they exist in, she added. Yeah, I like how you are promoting people to just die in their own body. I love how you don't actually care for the people at all. In fact, I would like to see on how many people are going to go to FatCon. I really, really want to know. Because, you know, it's probably going to smell disgusting and horrible there. It's just not going to be good. And we're seeing over time and time again to where people are overweight, and it's just causing, they die over it. We're even seeing some fat influencers pass away because of being overweight. Some even leading to heart attacks. While there's certainly no need to be cruel and unkind to people who are struggling with obesity, far too many people in our society have misunderstood what true compassion means. Lying to obese individuals and telling them that they should just accept themselves the way they are because of the real problems of beauty standards, rather than giving them concrete ways to cure their metabolic disorder, only leads to more depression and illness. I agree. I think that these people are going to suffer more illnesses, more issues that are running here. And I think if anybody has did watch my interview with this man with diabetes, then being fat doesn't really always trigger diabetes. But the matter of it, fact is, being fat does trigger other health issues besides just diabetes. It's not really fat. Being fat does not trigger diabetes, but it triggers a whole bunch of other slew of health problems. And the mere fact here is that that we're trying to promote this stuff is honestly disgusting. And I think the gym bro community or whatever, or the gyms, to be fit, I do agree that you need to become fit, right? You need to become healthy. But there is a fine line between trying to get, become like a bodybuilder or I guess to say Arnold Schwarzenegger. Like, you don't need to reach that level of being fit, right? I think the thing is that they want is that we need to go to a fine line of actual health, right? And being healthy is by eating correctly, trying to avoid foods that are bad for you and stuff like that. Trying to eat as little as possible if you're gaining a bit too much weight. Like, trying to just be healthy. It's not about lifting weights or whatever, or what have you. You don't need to do that. But I think the whole thing is to be fit, you just need to eat correctly, and that's it. And your body will normally reach the size that it's supposed to be, and that's fine. You don't need to gain muscles. I want to gain muscles because, obviously, I think I need to gain a little bit of muscle tone. I'm not going to lie here. And stuff like that. So, yeah. Everybody shouldn't be sitting. I shouldn't be sitting as much as I should either. I think a little cardio for desk workers. Yeah, I think there should be for people that are working 8 hours sitting at a desk. I think companies should have honestly a mandatory like an hour or two like walk session or something like that, because you need to be able to you're not supposed to be sitting constantly all the time. You have to get up and start working and walking. You don't have to do runs or stuff like that. You can walk and be fine, but you need to do it for your back and stuff like that, because you're not supposed to be sitting all this time. And they also want universal health. Yeah. Again, the whole problem I have with universal health is that we see the ramifications and issues with universal health with in Canada, to where people can't get anything medically done that's very, very important to them, because there's such a long list, and they usually months to get these things done. So by that standard, it doesn't work. Seriously, anyone who does desk work should do that. After 10 to 5 years, you will be in bad shape if you don't do something. Yeah, you 100%, 100%. I think you guys should go watch. There's a chiropractor. If you guys don't really believe in chiropractors, it's kind of understood, because a lot of chiropractors are garbage. But there is the McLaughlin chiropractor, which is on YouTube, and then you have the Mondragon chiropractor for her. Both are good. Mondragon honestly does a lot of clickbait. You'll see what I mean by she does like somewhat clickbait by watching her, by just her thumbnails alone. It's kind of obvious. I mean, she does do her work, but she's always in leggings and stuff like that. You'll find out when you look at it. Not saying that not saying what she teaches or what she shows is bad, but it's really good. But if you actually want more extensive view on your back and stuff, or information on what's going on, McLaughlin chiropractor, which is her brother, does a really good job of explaining on what's wrong with people, etc., etc. It's really good to learn what's going on, and if you don't notice any of your discs or what have you are being ruptured or messed up, because there's no actual like nerves in the disc. So what happens is that like you'll be messing up your back or whatever, or your discs, and you won't even know it until way later, when it actually starts hurting, and by that time it's like almost the damage is done. So I recommend people going to massage therapists and what have you, and really and walking, mostly a lot of walking and stuff like that, and stretching, as user has said as well, and really do that type of stuff, so that way you don't end up with back problems and later in your future. You need to start walking. Massage therapists are also really well. I say you have to do massage therapists once, twice a year, if that. You only have to do it like once to really help. If you're working out, I would probably say that you probably need to go to the massage therapist a bit more. What I've been noticing recently, a lot of these bodybuilders or just gym guys in general, where they do these workouts, their muscles get in knots, and they get these tears and stuff. A lot of muscle, a lot of damaged muscle tissue and stuff like that, and all that. And if you don't go to the massage therapist every now and then, you get bad muscle knots, and your body becomes a bit more like it's not really crunched in, but it becomes uncomfortable, and you get pain in certain areas that you normally that wouldn't be. So because they heal, but sometimes they heal wrong. So you would go to the massage therapist every once in a while when you're doing this. It helps blood circulation, get more blood. It heals. You actually start healing faster by doing this, because you get blood circulation through your muscles and stuff, and it removes the knots that you would potentially get in your back muscles or wherever it is, and you start becoming better, stuff like that. That's what I know from what I've been seeing. Not saying what I'm saying is 100% correct, but I do know there is benefit to actual massage therapy among many other things. Remember when Bush was in office and there was the death panel discussion? You know what? I don't know much about Bush, I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. But after doing a little bit more research on the man, I don't like him very much. Yeah. When Bush was in office, I don't even know how old I was. I might have been 10. I don't even remember. But even then, when I was in high school, I didn't do very much of I didn't do very much of political stuff. I had my own views and my own opinions, but I wasn't very much in political. I was just doing whatever. And it wasn't until like I was 24, 25 until I really got any remotely into political stuff. And it wasn't until, honestly, when I was 29 until I do political stuff. And I kind of kicking my ass for it now because I wish I would started earlier. I didn't know too much about, I don't know too much about Bush in general. I need to do more research though. I need to do more research on our past presidents. So that's my fault on that, in that sense. We are currently in the middle of a public health crisis. 70% of Americans are overweight, and more than 40% are obese. 6 out of every 10 Americans suffer from a chronic illness, and 4 out of every 10 have 2 or more chronic illnesses. Obesity is a leading contributor to common causes of death, such as heart disease, stroke, and many cancers, type 2 diabetes, etc. Again, the type 2 diabetes thing, as I talked with the one guy, is probably a fallacy. So we don't have to do too much about that, but I do know all the other concerns are true. While 3 organizers of this event may have good intentions, they are simply enabling a whole demographic of people to continue making poor lifestyle choices. Agreed. A lot of time and energy and money would be much better spent creating a convention that offers solutions to obesity, nutrition seminars, workshops with holistic practitioners, cooking and meal prep classes, etc. But instead, they're spending their time making fat people feel good about themselves. Obesity is a completely reversible and curable. We have all the tools we need to solve this obesity crisis, but our culture is far too concerned with virtue signaling and patting ourselves on the back for being compassionate to people who are extremely overweight. But the ironic thing is, this is the opposite of compassion. Real compassion is telling the truth, and that's certainly not going to happen in FatCon. Yeah, I agree. FatCon is detrimental to everybody involved there, and I think it's a cancer waiting to happen. Politics back then was so different, even more so in the 90s. Gore campaign had Dixie flag flying pants. Yeah, I agree. Politics way back then was completely different. I mean, even transgender stuff was not even remotely being known at all. It was like a foreign entity and stuff like that. I see how rapidly our culture and our politics has changed since then. Granted, in the 90s, I was a kid in the 90s. I was born in 1993, so I didn't know anything about politics back then. I was just a kid going through stuff. As a kid, honestly, I was just trying to deal with drug withdrawal because of being born obviously dead because of my mom doing drugs while she was pregnant. So I was dealing with, as a kid, for the longest time, dealing with drug withdrawal. Studying was very difficult. All kinds of stuff was difficult for me when I was a kid. So that being said, I had to go through a lot of BS just trying to function in normal society. So it's crazy, guys. I don't know what's happening in this crazy world here that we're living in. We have the fat obesity stuff, all this crazy mayhem going. I just don't know what to do anymore with all this craziness. I'm wondering what's really going to happen here. Oh, and we have an actual update here with Trans Manifesto. So we'll probably be doing an update on that tomorrow with all this great stuff. So yeah, it's crazy. Hey, yeah, I did pretty good. Yeah, it took me quite a while to get to where I was. So hopefully, maybe maybe it would have had some type of benefit. But I'm glad that I'm doing this now. I love doing YouTube because you guys are all supporting me, talking to me, and stuff like that. It's been great. The ideals that my father instilled into me has been had a great impact on me. So yeah, it's been fantastic so far, at least for me. What's going on here? What is this? I don't know why it does this at all. It just does stupid stuff. I have to fix this later on. See why it's doing this. But yeah, guys, that's it for today's stream. I thought it was going to go a lot longer, but apparently not. But I'll be back tomorrow around the same time for the most part. So hopefully you guys will be around. I may start at 2. I'll let you guys know ahead of time by today. Maybe I'll have a thumbnail this time around. So yeah, we'll be talking about the Trans Manifesto tomorrow and more other crazy stuff that's happening. And hopefully we get down to it. All right, guys, that's it for the stream today. Love you all.